Hello and welcome to another special edition of the Lynn Lowdown. Today we have a special guest, high school sports editor and reporter, Danny Ventura from the Boston Herald. How are you doing, Danny?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me a little bit. It's been a wild time since the EMAS championships for high school sports. We had the Eastern Mass Championship games Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursday, and then after that, everything went downhill from that. In your years of covering high school sports, have you ever seen anything like this?
No, nobody expects something like this to happen, and you just feel awful for the kids, that you work hard. In some cases, some teams build for 4 years for this moment, and to have it taken away through, Mother Nature or whatever. The coronavirus. Mm-hmm. And, you feel awful for the kids. That's what you feel for,
Yeah.
There are a lot of people, the parents get upset about it. But, at the end of the day, it's the kids who didn't get that opportunity to finish what they started. I know, speaking in your area, Lynn English was very upset because they would love to have had the chance to repeat as a state champion on the court rather than having to settle for co-champion.
Yeah. Yeah, and it hurt a lot for the seniors too. We saw, there were a lot of seniors that were, the state championship was going to be their last high school game, and that one was the one that really hit home.
Yeah, because with certain kids, some of the top level high school seniors are going to go on to play at the next level, but the reality is most of the high school seniors are not playing college basketball. So as you said, this may very well have been their last competitive game ever, and to have it end through a horrible thing that's going on, the pandemic is just terrible.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on them deciding to have co-champions for the state champions? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think they had much of an alternative. You can't pick one over the other, and I think the MIA kind of got caught in the snowball. The effect, once the pro teams start canceling and then you see the colleges canceling, the NCAA tournament cancels, the MIA could have possibly put themselves on the hot seat if they did allow the teams to go play on Saturday and Sunday. Mm-hmm. And God forbid there were people in the stands that had the virus. And all of a sudden, you're talking possible, lawsuits, things like that. So I think given, the situation they were in, which is pretty much unprecedented, I think it was as good a decision as they could have made, really.
Yeah, I thought about that too because, at first you'd be upset, but then you have to look at the bigger picture. If you're a student athlete, and also if you're a parent of the student athlete, you got to look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is keeping the kids and everybody healthy and not putting them in harm's way.
Yeah, it's easier said than done, I guess, in a lot of cases. If you're a 15, 16-year-old kid, you get a chance to actually play for a state title. You don't think like that. You don't think, 10 years down the road, they may think, well, maybe it was the right decision. But today, you see it on Twitter, the kids are very upset about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, spring sports was supposed to start last week. Am I correct?
That was prior to about 4:00 yesterday. They were hoping to start the season on the 27th, mm-hmm. But with Governor Baker's latest edict about no schools to be open prior to May 4th, mm-hmm. Now you've really got a situation where the spring sports are definitely in jeopardy.
Yeah,
April 27th. It would have been tough. They would not have been able to have a state tournament, but they could have had a sectional tournament. Mm-hmm. Now you're basically at the point. If everything goes, and you're talking May 4th, only if everything goes perfect, and we don't even know that yet.
Yeah.
We don't know if we've hit the tip of the iceberg yet or whatever the case may be, but say it is May 4th, you won't be able, you can't start the season before the 11th, mm-hmm. And the season has to end on June 20th, so you're looking to try to do a regular season and some sort of tournament thing in 6 weeks, and it's just, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and it'd be a very condensed regular season if I
think at this point, having spoken to several ADs yesterday in different leagues, I think they're just so desperate that they want to give their seniors some sort of hope that they're willing to do just a 10 or a 12 game regular season and maybe have their own league championship, like in case of Lynn English, the Northeast Conference.
Yeah,
maybe 10-game schedule and have the top 4 teams play for a championship. Or in some other leagues, what they've talked about, like the Bay State Conference, has possibly talked about hooking up with the Hockomock League. Maybe the top 2 teams in the Bay State, cross over, play the top 2 in the Hockomock, and have their own trophy or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of creativity going on. I mean, the athletic directors are desperately trying to do something to at least, give the kids something to look forward to in the spring, because right now there isn't a lot of hope out there.
Yeah, and I saw yesterday the state of Virginia canceled school for the whole year.
Yeah, I mean that's where you get into the concern, is because when one state does it, the snowball effect comes in. If they're doing it, maybe we should do it. And then it works its way. And you saw it in the sports. Once one sport decided, that's it, the others start falling in line.
Yeah, this is one year that we're all gonna remember. But
you won't. People aren't going to forget it for a long time for a variety of different reasons.
Yeah. Not considering that there is currently no spring sports, but who were some of the teams that the state was that were gonna be the top teams in the state in baseball this year that were gonna make some noise?
I'm looking at my baseball notebook right now. I haven't had a chance to take it out, but a lot of times in baseball, you're looking at the same cast of characters. In your area, St. John's Prep. Mm-hmm. The Northeast Conference always has good baseball. You've got a lot of good programs there. It's one of the better baseball leagues in the state. I think sometimes they get overlooked because you have the Catholic Conference, the Bay State Conference, but the Northeast Conference, top to bottom, is one of the I think it's one of the top 3 or 4 leagues in the state, because you've always got a good core of 5 or 6 solid teams in there every year.
Mm-hmm. All right, and before we get you out of here, just your overall assessment of this past basketball season. What were some players or teams that really stood out to you this past basketball season?
Certainly, when you deal with the boys basketball, you have to start with the team that, they didn't get a chance to do it on the court, but I don't think there's any question Lynn English was the best team in the state. And I think, when they really wanted to play, that they were clearly, head and shoulders above the field. They certainly proved it at the end. For the last 2 teams they beat were top 5 teams. Lowell was an overtime game, but, in the overtime, they showed their class there. Mansfield was a terrific team and really couldn't get anything going against Lynn English in the Garden. So, you look at, the Northeast Conference, it was a successful season for them. Beverly gets to the Garden for the first time. Mm-hmm. Now, I know they lost to Whitman Hanson, but, anytime you get to the Garden, no matter what happens there, that's a successful season, to go that far. And, kudos to Matt Karakoutis and his program there.
Yeah, definitely one year to remember. Danny, thank you very much, sir, for chatting with us. We really appreciate this.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime. Thank you.
All right. You have a great day.
You do the same.
All right. That was Danny Ventura, sports editor and high school sports editor and reporter for the Boston Herald. You guys have been watching the Lynn Lowdown. Have a great one.